Okay, lesson 35, word problems about comparing and elapsed time. So the comparing problems are not necessarily about time. So we're going to start off, and they tell you that in comparison problems, one number is smaller and one number is larger. So they're using containers, and they said that the containers range from 245 pounds to 160 pounds. How much heavier is the heaviest container? So they suggest that you draw a little picture, make the bigger one, and put your pounds in here, 245. Make your smaller one, 160 pounds, and you're trying to find that difference between 160 and 245. These pictures don't work for me so well. This formula works really well for me. So larger minus smaller equals the difference. Sometimes in these problems, they give you the larger and the difference. Sometimes they give you the smaller and the difference. In this one, they gave you the larger number and the smaller number. So I can just subtract 245 minus 160, and I get 85 pounds. So here, you can kind of visualize it more easily with the pictures, but I find it hard to calculate. But 245 pounds is the same thing as 160 pounds plus 85 pounds. Make sense? Okay, so if this works better for you, do it this way. If this works better for you, do it this way. I need to introduce you to both ways. In example 1, Mel is 6 years younger than his brother Cleon. So Mel is 11 years old. How old is Cleon? Okay, so Mel is a smaller number, right, because he's younger. Cleon's going to be older, and he's going to be 6 years older. So using my formula, the larger Cleon, I don't know. Smaller is Mel, he's 11, and the difference is 6. So something minus 11 equals 6. Can I use my fact families? Can I read up? Remember that last lesson we did where we read up? So 6 plus 11 is 17, right? And in this one, you can see it pretty clearly that 6 plus 11, and Cleon is 17 years old. Probably should have labels there, but I couldn't fit them in. With these problems, the trick is figuring out which one, what are they talking about when they say larger? What are they talking about when they say smaller? And then difference. Let's look at example 2. That's elapsed time. So again, they're going to use that same idea of larger, smaller, and difference, except for now, when you're talking about time, it's later, earlier, and difference. So the difference between 1620 and 1492 is 128 years. So that was pretty straightforward. Later minus earlier, you get the difference. So how long was the time period between Columbus and the Pilgrims? It was 128 years. Okay, so example 3, they're going to show you one way. I think it's kind of a ridiculous way. I don't know. If you're good on military time, it's not. A school day at Edison School begins at 8:10 a.m. Remember, a.m. means morning. The school day ends at 3:15 p.m., so that's afternoon. Okay, so we're going to use that same later, earlier difference. So later is 3:15. Earlier is 8:10. That just looks crazy. So they changed this 3:15 into military time, or the 24-hour clock, and they did 3:15. You can just add 12 to the 3 and get that. But let me show you an easier way. This somehow just makes it so clear, and you can use whatever numbers work for you. So put your start time here, and then you're going to put an hours and a minutes column. And you can pick whatever. You can go hour by hour. I'm going to go ahead and pick till 12:10 because that's 4 hours, right? So that's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Okay. I need to go to 3:15. I'll write this over here to the side so I remember. I don't want to go all the way to 3:10 because can I go to 3:10? Sure, that's another 3 hours. And then I got to go to 3:15. Oops. It's a dot. That's a colon. So that's 5 minutes. So if I add all those up, I get 5 minutes, 7 hours, 7 hours and 5 minutes. Okay, let's see what I get when I do it this way. 5 minus 0 is 5, 0. 15 minus 8 is 7 hours and 5 minutes. So this is how I like to do elapsed time. I don't know, that was a struggle for me when I was a kid for whatever reason. And this seems to be so clear and easy. Again, we'll practice on those as we move along. Okay, that's this lesson. Good luck.